lovelies, today I'm going to be going through the books that I bought during my spring term. I'm meant to be on a book buying ban. It's reasonably been working out. My issue is that I tend to binge buy books and my reading speed is definitely not as quick as the speed that I obtain books, so I'm trying to cut it down. So a rule that I'm trying to follow, which has been thought of by my friend Sarah or adopted by Addams, is to only buy a book when I've read 5 of my own. And I've kind of followed those rules, although I have seemed to have obtained books in other ways as well. The first books that I've obtained in 2020 are the books that I received in the Books That Matter boxes. Now, the January box, although I actually received the book in January, I paid for the box way before in December, so I'm not counting it as a book that I bought in 2020. And that is this little book of fairy tales, which is published by Dancing Bear Books, which is a new indie publishing company, and it's a collection of short stories by a range of different authors, and I've already read this and I've enjoyed it. And the February Books That Matter box is not one that I bought for myself, it's one that my friend Zara, adopted by Addams, bought for me as a nice surprise, and that's The Colour Purple by Alice Walker, was in the February Books That Matter box. The Colour Purple is a tale of racism and segregation, and it is set in the deep south of America, and it is a classic book. This book that I received halfway through the term was not a book that I bought, it was actually a book that I traded with one of my friends who was also on my English literature course. So I had 2 copies of Circe by Madeline Miller, so I traded my spare copy with my friend for The Secret History by Donna Tartt because she had 2 copies of this. So I haven't bought this book, and my number of books did not change because I swapped one for another. Donna Tartt's The Secret History is one of those books that has been becoming a cult classic on the Bookstagram community for quite a while, and I'll read you the blurb. Under the influence of their charismatic classics professor, a group of clever, eccentric misfits at an elite New England college discover a way of thinking and living that is a world away from the humdrum existence of their contemporaries. But when they go beyond the boundaries of normal morality, their lives are changed profoundly and forever. I don't know what to expect from this book. I just know a lot of people that I respect a lot have said that this is a must-read book. The next 2 books, I was bending the rules a little bit. I'd seen these in a charity shop. They're going for about £2 each, second-hand. And they're books that I've been wanting to get my hands on for a while. I've been seeing advertised a lot. But I was on a book buying ban, so I wasn't going to buy them. But my mum bought them for me instead. So technically, I haven't spent on these books. They really were a steal because they're in really good condition, especially the first book. The second book has got a little bit of breaks in the spine, but apart from that, they're in great condition and sprayed edges. And that is The Hazel Wood by Melissa Albert and its sequel, The Night Country. So both of them together in great condition and matching for a really cheap price. I was willing to break my book buying ban to get them, but my mum bought them for me instead. We follow the story of a girl called Alice who has spent most of her life on the road, always one step ahead of the strange bad luck biting at her heels. But when Alice's grandmother, the reclusive author of a book of pitch-dark fairy tales, dies alone on her isolated estate, the Hazelwood, Alice discovers how bad her luck can really get. Her own mother is stolen away by a figure who claims to come from one of the supernatural worlds where the fairy tales are set. Alice's only clue is the message left behind: stay away from the Hazelwood. To rescue her mother, Alice must venture first to the Hazelwood, then into the world where her grandmother's tales began. So it's a very Inkheart vibe, but also it says dark fairy tales, which is my aesthetic. Now on to the books that I have actually bought for myself, and I have bought them today. I finished my 20th book last night, which was House Moving Castle, so I have earned the 4 books I've bought for myself, and I know there's 5 books in this pile, and that is because one of them is a Mother's Day present. This is Black Wave by Kim Gatters, and it is a story of Saudi Arabia, Iran, and the rivalry that unravelled in the Middle East. And I know my mum wants this because she read about it in the paper, and then she called me up to tell me about it, and I said, you know what, Mother's Day's coming up, I can get you that for you. And she was like, that would work. So this is my mum's Mother's Day gift, as well as other things. Therefore, it does not count. Even though I have bought it, it does not count as me buying a book for myself in my read 5 books, then buy a book rule. Whereas these are for myself. These are the books I've bought in my read 5, buy a book rule. All the way through term, I was updating my Instagram saying these are the 4 books I was going to get because I had book budget left over from Christmas and I was been doing at the end of term. And then Zara came up with this rule and I thought that's a great rule that I'm going to follow as well. So I was updating my Instagram, and the books that I thought I was going to get kept changing. There was a new Doctor Who book coming out, a hardback actual like adult fiction book, and I was definitely going to get that, but then it didn't work in my plans because the new Sarah J Maas book was coming out. It's like, damn, I cannot not get that. And then I was going to get this book called Miss Austen, which is about her sister Cassandra, who burnt Austen's letter. Nobody knows quite why she burnt her sister's letters, and it was a fiction book following that mystery. And because I was doing a Jane Austen module, I thought, you know what, that would be great, but I've got to the end of term and say, I'm a little fatigued of doing Austen every week, so I'm going to leave that behind. And instead, I swapped out Miss Austen for Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. And this is actually the Filling My Shelf book for March. The theme for March is magical realism, so Zara has picked out this book. And I have quite an interest in Japan, so I'm really intrigued by this book and I can't wait to get it. The next two books are books that are sequels to two books that I read this time last year, and I enjoyed both of them. And the first is a sequel to A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer, and that is A Heart So Fierce and Broken. And the second sequel is the sequel to Dread Nation by Justina Ireland, and that is Deathless Divide. So A Curse So Dark and Lonely was a Beauty and the Beast retelling. You had a character in a magical world who was taking girls from our world to try and get them to fall in love with him to break the curse. However, the first book goes along and it goes in a really unconventional way, and you do not get a straightforward breaking of the curse, even though the curse does get broken. I really loved it. I 5-starred it. It was one of the best books I'd read that year. So of course I'm going to pick up the sequel, which is following the same characters and what happens after the curse is broken. Dread Nation, on the other hand, followed a zombie apocalypse that was happening during Civil War America, so that meant you had the added element of racism into it. Enjoyed reading Dread Nation. I love zombie apocalypse thing. I think the one criticism I had there was that there wasn't enough of the zombie side, but I'm hoping that this actual chunk of a book, because it's 550 pages, which I wasn't expecting because the first book is about the average 400, I think it was. So I really like the first book's concept, and I'm glad that it's going to get developed even further with the same characters and following on from what happened in the first book. I think these two books really sum up the two different sides of my personality, because you've got the historical fiction but with a zombie apocalypse, and you've also got the YA high fantasy with an angsty, not straightforward romance. And the last book, I just could not get it because it's from my absolute favourite author, Sarah J Maas. I have read all of the Court of Thorns and Roses series. I've read everything from the Throne of Glass series apart from Kingdom of Ash, because I'm saving that for my summer term because I know it's going to break me apart and I want to leave it to when I can really get my teeth into it. But she's come out with a new series which she started, which is actually an adult fantasy series, and I'm going to be honest, not quite sure how much more adult it can get from the stuff that she's written in her YA books already, but so excited. And the lady on the till actually said that A Court of Mist and Fury, which was her favourite book, this beats it. And A Court of Mist and Fury is my favourite book so far as well, and she said I was just mind blown by it. So this book has got a hell of a lot to live up to. And it is Sarah J Maas's House of Earth and Blood, which is the first book in the new Crescent City series that she has just started. And it's hardback. I don't normally go for hardback. I normally like to go for paperback, and Sarah J Maas's other books have been released straight to paperback. But because this is a new adult fantasy and I love Sarah J Maas so much, I ain't gonna wait for the paperback to come out. So when I collect hardbacks, I collect them for special things, such as Sarah J Maas or such as Connie Glynn's The Rosewood Chronicles. So I do like hardbacks just for certain special series, and I think this is going to be a special series, and it's a Waterstones exclusive with sprayed edges. Anyone that doesn't think this book is beautiful is a straight up liar, because it is the most stunning book. Oh, come on, that's beautiful. And I also know that when Sarah J Maas put this artwork in the red fade out like on the cover, and it had all moving elements, she said there's a lot of actual hints as to what's going on in the book. So this artwork here is going to have a lot of references to what's going on in the book, but we don't know what they are yet because we haven't read it. I'm just going to straight up read the blurb for this one because I haven't actually read the blurb in full, because I just saw Sarah J Maas and I was just like, I want to be utterly surprised by what's going to be happening in it. And there's been a lot of like hints and stuff on her Instagram, and I'm just like, ignore it all because I want to be totally immersed in when I get it. So I will read you the blurb though. Bound by blood, tempered by desire, unleashed by destiny, Vice Quinlan used to light up Crescent City, partying all night in the clubs where the strict classes of angel, shifter, human and fae merge into the sea of beautiful bodies. Ooh, I love the way she writes fae. She's very much found her comfort zone in writing fae with the other two series, but now she's bringing in shifters and angels. And then a demon murdered her closest friends. Ooh, cool. 2 years later, when the supposed killer is behind bars, the crime starts up again. The city's leaders command Bryce to help investigate. They assign an enslaved fallen angel, hunt Athala, to make sure she does, but Bryce fights to uncover the truth and resists her attraction to brooding angel who shadows her every step. Sarah J. Maas does brooding characters great. She finds herself following a trail that leads deep into her own dark past. I love that Sarah J. Maas has branched off into including other magical creatures. I know from the Instagram posts that there are different categories of magical creatures in this. There are different classifications that are all put on her Instagram stories, which were explained there, but I'm sure they're going to be explained here as well. So they've got all sorts of things: nymphs, angels, demons, fae. I love a good fae. So I am so excited about this, and if it's the lady on the desk is anything to go by, this could end up being a favourite. It better be. It better be for 16 quid. 17 quid. So those are the 10 books that I've obtained in various different ways. The 4 that I bought for myself following my read 5 books, and then I can afford to buy a book rule. A book for my mum. A book that I've book traded, so therefore the number of books I own did not change. 2 books that my mum bought for me from charity shops. And the 2 Books That Matter books, one that I pre-ordered in December, one that my friend Zara got for me. So I'm very excited about all the books here. I have a feeling that Before the Coffee Gets Cold will be the first one I'll dig into as the Thing My Shelf Book Club Book of the Month. And then Sarah J. Maas's Crescent City will be very close behind. When it comes to books that I really want to be immersed in, I don't like reading them at home. I prefer to read them at uni, so this book, I really should leave it until term time to get that feeling. But I don't know whether I can wait, and I might end up just reading it over the Easter holidays. So thank you for watching. Like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.